Kinfolk comes out.
Yeah.
Pocket Change.
Yeah.
Fearless Flyers.
Yeah.
Brittany Howard.
Yeah. It all happens post 40. It all happens, yeah.
What's like one of the greatest lessons you've learned from Brittany Howard?
Don't be so fixed on what you want that
Yeah.
you're missing out on what another musician's going to bring.
The first time I saw you play drums was you drumming. We dropped the stick.
Yeah, man. I became famous for messing up.
Man, look at the camera. What is Pocket?
Agree on time.
How did the Fearless Flyers become a band?
Jack Stratton had this vision. 3 guitars in a line and a minimal drum kit.
Kick snare hat.
In recent days, I've added a floor tom and a cymbal. It caused a bit of controversy.
I was going to say, was this okay?
People are really audacious online, man. They said, yeah, man, okay, so you've got a floor tom and a cymbal. I mean, sounds like, maybe the potential for overplaying, man. I was like, what? Go.
Let's go. What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 65 of Go with Elmo. And today's guest is one of my favorite drummers on the planet, Mr. Nate Smith. So if you're a drummer, you're probably already a mega fan of Nate. You may know him from his solo work. He's a multi-Grammy nominated artist in and of himself, let alone his incredible work that he's done with Brittany Howard, Fearless Flyers, Dave Holland, Paul Simon, and a bunch of other artists. He's had an amazing career. I'm a big fan of Nate's. We've been friends online, but this was our first time getting to hang out in person, so I really enjoyed getting to spend time with him. He's a great guy. I hope this interview gives you a bit more into his life, his philosophies, his practice regiment, how he got where he is, and I hope you are as inspired from the combo as I am. If you're interested in drummers, we have had some of the best drummers in the world already on the podcast. So make sure to check that out if you haven't yet. And if you're just a fan of music, welcome. We got all sorts of people on this show, so please share it with your music-loving friends, your drummer friends, your musician, your songwriter, your producer friends, whatever it may be. And without further ado, here is my conversation with the man, the myth, the legend, Nate Smith. Are you ready, dude?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Okay.
3, 2,
Oh, that's deep.
1.
Wow. Damn, I'm scared now. I'm scared now, G. All right.
Here we go, Nate.
Okay.
All right.
That's it.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Sitting with me today is one of the greatest drummers, one of the most loved drummers by all of humankind. Make a ton of noise for Nate Smith.
Hey.
Nate. What's up, my guy?
Thank you for having me, brother.
Thanks for coming over, dude.
Man. Yeah.
So good to see you in the flesh.
Yes, indeed.
I like having you in LA, man.
Yeah, it's lovely here, man. It's lovely here. It's, every time I come out, I have a great time. Got a lot of friends here, a lot of musical history here in LA. Yeah,
I think the whole LA world would change if you moved here.
no, I don't know. There's so many bad cats here, so many bad cats in LA. But it is. I mean, I always feel at home when I'm here. I really do.
The community is tight in LA as much as people outside don't think it is. I really feel that it is. The drummer community, the musician community.
Yeah.
Like I personally don't feel the competitive vibe, even though there's so much talent here. Like, someone I think about that moved here that I was like, oh wow, was when Mark Giuliano moved here.
Oh yeah,
and he's just a few blocks away from me.
Is he really?
Yeah, and I never thought Mark would leave New York. And him coming here, I feel like that was such a beautiful thing in LA, and I feel like LA has really embraced Mark, and he's embraced LA.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, maybe Nate Smith does it.
Who knows, man? Who knows what's in the cards, man?
But you're out here with the Fearless Flyers.
I am.
What are you guys doing?
We just finished recording our 5th album.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
5 albums already?
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, when I got out here, it was hard to, my first record with them was 7 years ago, 2018. I came out.
Time is flying.
And we did the thing. That was the Fearless Flyers 1.
Yep.
There was a huge response online. People went crazy for it. And we played a couple shows that year, and then we got, it's just grown. It's just grown into this beautiful thing. And I really love playing with those dudes. And we've got a show tonight at the Regent Theater,
yes,
which is going to be the bomb. and a benefit show for everybody who's been struggling out here. So
thank you.
Yeah, man. No, for sure.
We need all the support, man. So we appreciate it.
Absolutely. We man, I even from across the country, I've just been watching, thinking about all my people out here. You know, all my people out here who've been struggling. So.
It's been crazy, man. Yeah, it's been a lot. But once again, so much of the community coming together, so much support from people that don't live in LA, as well as LA coming together. So that has felt really nice. But I feel horrible, man. There's so many friends have lost their spots. It's crazy.
Yeah.
My family's displaced. It's been a lot, but yeah, there's silver linings in it for sure.
Yeah.
Coming together, spending more time with moms, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, man.
All that stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful.
There's always a silver lining.
But yes, but love and prayers to all of our Los Angeles fam.
For sure.
And yeah, thank you guys for doing that show. And by the time this airs, it would have happened. But you know it's going to be sick. It's Fearless Flyers, man.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I always have a blast with those dudes, man.
So how did the Fearless Flyers become a band?
So I got an email from Corey Wong. This was December of 2017. And it was, he was like, hey, man, you know, my name is Corey Wong.
Oh, you didn't know him?
I didn't know Corey.
Okay.
I'd been watching Wolf online. You know, I've been seeing their videos. And
you hadn't known the Wolfpack guys at all at that time?
Never met them.
Wow.
So, and had never met Mark Lettieri either.
Wow.
So he says, you know, Jack Stratton had this vision. He had an idea. And I think it came to him fully formed. Like he saw this standing guitar things, 3 guitars in a line and a minimal drum kit. And he said, you know, we'd love to have you. He didn't say all that in the email.
Yeah.
He was like, we have this idea for a band, me, Joe Dart, Mark Lettieri, and you, if you're interested. And I said, okay. I had been watching Wolf online, didn't really know much about him, but I enjoyed what I saw.
Yeah.
What really convinced me to do it was I saw 2 videos they put up. One featured James Gadsden and David T. Walker. Actually did a couple videos with them. And then they did another video with Michael Bland, who used to play with Prince. Mm-hmm. And when I saw those videos, I was like, okay, these guys know what's up. Like, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll check it out. So I came out to LA, and we did the first video. And Corey's email, his tone is he's such an enthusiastic guy, you know. Yeah. It was so he was so excited about it. I was like, this could be fun. So I said yes, came out. And when I got there, I saw the setup. Jack had this frame drum with a pillow pressed inside it, and a cinder block in front of it because it didn't have spokes on the side, and a snare drum and a hi-hat. And that was it. And I was like, oh, this is a different vibe. This is a different thing.
Not your kit.
Not my kit. No, it was all, I just showed up and he had this thing set up. He had the things lined up. It was a vision that he had. And so I went in and we did the 3 days, I think. We did a couple tunes a day. That first one, I think Blake Mills sat in with us. Nice. And Sandra Crouch, the late Sandra Crouch, RIP, she came and played tambourine on stuff. It was a lot of fun. I was just like, man, this is really cool, you know? And then I think that was when the first Ace of Aces video came out, and
shit went everywhere immediately.
Went everywhere. Yeah.
So, like Ace of Aces, these kind of songs, how are you guys writing them? Does Jack have an arrangement and then you guys vamp? Like, what happens? You write them on the spot and then record it immediately?
It's kind of on the spot. Yes. Yeah. Someone will bring in a riff.
Yeah.
Corey, in those cases, I think Corey and Mark brought in stuff.
Yeah.
And Jack had been watching videos online, and he was like, man, this thing you did in this video, let's build something around that. Mm-hmm. Let's build something around this one thing. So I think he saw a groove that I played in a video, and then he saw another thing that Mark had done, a rhythm guitar thing Mark had done. He was like, I really want to build something around this. Can we try this?
Yeah. That's
how it started. And so the grooves are kind of constructed around that. And
was that what became the Ace of Aces
that's
groove?
What became the Ace of Aces, yeah.
That groove is so sick, dude.
Yeah, it is. It's really fun to play.
Was it like, was it you also, is that your input of like, oh, I want to do these one-handed fills that are simple but like so cool? Or is it like.
That was all just improvised.
It's just improvised.
It's just in the
swag.
moment.
It's just like.
It's just, you know, we're playing the groove and something comes to me, I do it, or I try to get into this, you know, I'll try to maybe get into something that is each take. I try to get into something a little different, you know?
So you guys write a riff, or put an arrangement together, then hit record with the cameras on.
Yes.
And then cut it, and when you have the take, that's the record and the video.
That's the record and the video. That's
Sick.
the record. Yeah, it's all live, baby. All live.
And that's why when you guys play live, it just sounds exactly like
the same.
that.
That's our thing. I think that, one of the things that makes it so cool is that you're really getting it, we're as excited as you are. Because it's like we're discovering it all in the same moment.
Yes.
That's the beauty of it, is that we're all, and in some cases we're all like, okay, wait, how do we end it? Okay, is this the end? Oh, no, we have one more time. Like, you can kind of feel that tightrope that we're walking,
About how many takes is it, like, for Ace of Aces until that comes together?
We have a running joke that I hope he doesn't get mad, but we have a running joke that Joe Dart will give us 3 takes, and then his car is waiting outside. He's like, I only do 3. He's
like, it's in there, so you guys better have it.
Yeah, man, come on. Joe will give us 3 takes, and then he's out. He's got his Uber Black waiting outside. He's like, I've got a tea time, guys. I gotta go.
He's like, take one was perfect.
He said, yeah, take one. Actually, man, take one was great, man. That's it. That's the one, man. But no, usually it's 3 or 4 takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3 or 4 takes. And in some cases, we'll like do a couple takes, take a pause, just talk it down, and then we'll come back, do one more take. And that's usually like the one where it's like, oh, everything locks together, because we just needed a second. It's all so new to us in the moment.
Yes. Yeah. So to cut an album for Fearless Flyers, you're talking a couple days.
Yeah, a couple days.
Yeah.
We just did this last one. We did 2 days of recording.
Nice.
And we did 8 things.
Sick. How do you feel about it?
I feel great about it. I mean, we all are bringing in ideas.
Yeah.
We're all bringing in like little fragments, little nuggets.
Yeah.
And then we bring it to the group, and we all kind of put in a little bit of input, give a little feedback, and then we cut it.
So it's obviously you, Corey Wong, Mark Lettieri, Joe Dart.
Yeah.
And Jack Stratton?
Well, for this record, this record's going to be the first one. I'm not sure how much of this I can reveal, but this will be the first one where we're kind of doing it without Jack.
Got it.
So we're Corey,
just the 4 of you guys.
Just the 4 of us guys. And Corey's kind of been running it. He's kind of been sort of producing it, being sort of the in the captain's chair for this.
Nice.
But it really is. Sometimes we've done it where Jack will join us on stage and just sort of be like the 5th man.
Yeah.
And this last one we did last year at the Blue Note in New York, Jack was shooting it on stage. So he would come up and he would give us sort of a disclaimer spiel about, okay, I'm going to be on stage, but I've got a guy in Chicago who's going to mix it. It's going to be great, but please forgive me if I'm in your way. I'm just trying to capture. And if you check out the videos, it's so cool how he did it. He really, in addition to being like an extremely talented musician, he's also kind of a talented filmmaker too. Like, he really understands how to shoot stuff. You know? Yeah. So big up to Jack, man.
Yeah, Jack is incredible.
Yeah.
So it was his vision to start Fearless Flyers with that whole ensemble. Yeah. And then he called Corey first?
I guess maybe Corey and Joe were, the closest to the orbit, And then I think they had been watching me and Mark online.
Right.
I'm not sure if Mark had met the guys either. I think we both came in sort of as like the new guys.
And then just luckily you and Mark are also sweetheart great guys.
Oh, I mean, I love that dude, man. I love Mark. Yeah, he's a great guy. And is super talented. Wow. He's a deep musician, man.
Yes.
He really is, yeah.
Man, I love it. So with Fearless Flyers, kick, snare, hat, it's the Nate Smith fullness, man. How do you make it so much? There's so much and so little.
Man.
So full.
It's like I said on this video that Corey just posted, I've stolen so much great stuff from all my favorite drummers.
Yeah.
And when it's that small of a setup, all of the language is really important. Like that ghost note language is really important. So I go back to the sources. I go back to, Harvey Mason. I'll go back to Omar.
Nice.
Hakeem.
Oh, yeah.
Steve Gadd, of course. James Gadsden, of course.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just thinking about Bernard Purdy. I'm thinking about all those dudes who can make a kick, snare, and hat dance together and make an arrangement with those 3 instruments.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about like that as I'm playing, but I'm also trying to stay in the groove, trying to stay in the moment too. So, and not overplay. That's the other thing. I don't want to overdo it with the stuff in the middle, but I really want to, keep the momentum going, while we're playing. I'm thinking about that a lot. Like, you know, how many different colors can I get out of these 3 sounds?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And
Because there is so much even rhythmically that Corey's doing and then melodically that Mark is doing and then Joe, of course.
Yeah.
So it's so full with the 4 of you guys and you playing the most minimal setup possible.
Yeah. And still trying to add as much color. Now I have added, in recent days, I've added a floor tom and a cymbal, a ride cymbal. And it caused a bit of controversy.
I was going to say, was this okay?
Somebody sent me, I posted a picture of the setup for this new record, and someone sent me this. I can't believe it. People are really audacious online, man.
Oh yeah.
They sent me this, and it was like, yeah, man. Okay. So you've got a floor tom and a cymbal. I mean, sounds like, you know, maybe the potential for overplaying, man. I was like, what? It's what? I was like,
the potential for overplaying.
Sounds like the potential for overplaying. I was like, get away from me.
That's hilarious. You know what you should do is the next Fearless Flyers album, set up 4 racks.
I know.
4 floors. And only play kick snare hat.
Right. It just
don't even touch them.
So the second record I think it was the third record we did, or the Tailwinds record, was when I had the big kit.
Oh, yes.
There was one we set up a big like Blademeyer kit, and I was playing, and it was like 9 toms or something stupid, and you know, I played them like I was like, he brought them all this way, I might as well play them. But you know, I'm a jazz kit guy. I'm a 4-piece kit dude.
For sure.
So I used to play a bigger kit, then I realized I kind of was only playing 4 of the drums. Yeah. So why don't I just set up minimal?
So as someone who's, you know, always trying to push forward, like I know it's super hard to do that, right?
It is, and especially now. Yeah. I just feel like I've posted this a couple times on socials. Like sometimes I really feel like the music business is conspiring against musicians, you know, and it's hard to you know, kind of push the rock up the hill because, you know, everything is smaller. You have to do more with less, you know. But the connection to the audience, I think, is getting stronger because we can speak to people directly.
Yes.
That's the cool thing. That's like the silver lining, is that you can really talk to your people and say, hey man, I'm doing this. You know, check out what I'm working on, check out my process, check out a little behind the scenes. Like there's a little less of that, you know, veil, you know,
absolutely.
Artist. There's a little more transparent relationship with the audience.
For sure. And you can just make stuff and put it out.
You really can.
Which was not even an option, you know, 30 years ago.
Yeah. No, you had to go through so many things. And the barrier to entry was a lot thicker, you know. Now everyone can make music, which is a great thing, but also, you know, it floods the market with music. So you have to find a way to find your audience, connect with them, and, you know, for people to find value in what you do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's actually a great transition, because I feel like, of course, there is no overnight success, but I believe, if I remember correctly, the first time I saw you play drums was a clip of you drumming that went viral when you dropped the stick.
Yes.
Yeah. You were grooving, you dropped the stick, and you did the most incredibly musical recovery with the hi-hat and just how you played that groove. And I was like, whoa, who is this guy? Yeah. Where is he from? What is this? It was so musical and it was so great. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this guy's Nate Smith. Okay, cool. And then I feel like from that moment on, then now I just saw you forever up until now. It's like, okay, so should I be dropping more sticks?
Right. No. Yeah, man, I became famous for messing up.
Was that the viral clip that, of course, you were already playing professionally and doing all that for years, right? And developing your sound, your craft, your everything, because obviously it takes a whatever clip like that to show how incredible you are from all your years and decades of practice.
Right.
To be able to do that. But was that the clip that then brought you into, let's say, a ton of new eyeballs?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was the one. I think that's the clip that keeps going viral. Yeah. And I keep seeing it being reposted and reshared.
Still, years later.
Last year, Dougie Fresh shared it on his, and I got all these new followers from it, and I had no idea. I had no idea that he had posted it. And then I'm like, why is Queen Latifah following me on Instagram? I was like, what? I mean, I love it. Thank you, Queen Latifah. Shout out to Queen Latifah. But absolutely. I was like, what? And then I saw that he had shared it, and I saw that people were tagging me in the comments. I was like, But that was the first video where people, you know, I guess because it's such a spontaneous moment and a truly improvised moment.
Yes.
And the whole time my eyes are closed and I'm thinking, okay, how do I get through this solo? And my man Brad is holding my stick.
Yeah.
He came through with the assist. Shout out to my brother Brad Williams. He was there for me. But I was so in the zone I didn't even notice. And then we continued. But yeah, that was the first one.
Did you post that clip originally? Or did someone else post it?
I honestly can't remember. I think I reposted it. I think someone else posted it and I reposted it.
And then it just
And
then all of a sudden your Instagram followers start going up.
Yep.
At the time you're playing with Dave Holland?
I was playing with I was playing with Jose James, I think.
Jose James.
Yeah. And then
in that clip.
I think that was a Jose gig.
Nice.
And but I was also doing stuff with Near Felder, and Somi, the great singer Somi. I was playing with her. This was before the Fearless Flight, before Brittany Howard, and Dave Holland had, I played with Dave from 2003 to about 2011, pretty solid there. And Chris Potter around the same time, 2004 to 2012, 13.
Yeah.
But then I was just sort of freelancing around New York.
Yeah. This is when you moved to New York.
I moved to New York in 2001.
Yeah.
So shortly after I moved there, I started playing with Dave, who I'd met in Virginia a few years earlier.
Yep.
So there was a long and winding road
Nice.
that got me to that infamous drop stick.
It's one of those things where you just have no idea what the world's going to bring you, man. What's going to open up to you. Like, it really just shows how much you got to stay on your path.
Yeah.
And be incredible what you do, and people will discover you.
Yeah.
Even if it's from a clip of you dropping a stick because you just do it so well.
Yeah, man, you kind of it happened. It's happened a few times with the Flyers too.
Yeah.
Where someone has captured a stick drop on camera.
Yeah.
And
it's got to be Instagram gold. They're like, I caught one.
I got him. It got to the point where Corey Wong actually calls it the Nate Smith signature stick drop.
That's great.
So, all right.
It'd be really great if you sold a signature stick that was just one stick.
That was
it's missing a stick.
Yeah, I dropped the other one.
Yeah,
that's the signature. That's what makes it mine. Yeah.
It still comes in like the holder holds two, but there's only one.
There's only one stick.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to figure it out.
You got to figure it out for yourself.
Wow, dude. And then, okay, so like, what happened at that point? Like, how did that change? Besides, you get a new bunch of new followers, but I'm assuming that brings in new opportunities.
It does. I mean, I got so I was that video jump started things, but I was posting pretty regularly on my socials.
You had already started that.
Yeah, I was like trying to sort of use Instagram as a tool to engage,
Yeah.
And so I was posting, I had this like breakbeat series that I was posting. I think ended up doing maybe 20 or 30 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And where I was, honoring different drummers.
Yeah.
So I was trying to do the thing for Tony Allen. I did a couple things for Clyde Stubblefield, and so it was that kind of thing. And I was posting it pretty regularly. Then the drop stick video happens. Then more people are looking at the regular stuff I'm posting, So it did jumpstart things, and it got more eyes on me. But I was always at that point still pursuing, and I still am pursuing a band leader thing too. So I was, I guess, I'm not even sure when that video dropped. I guess 2016, 15, 16, somewhere in there. And so I'm working on my first Kinfolk record.
Wow.
During that time.
Wow, dude.
And so that you can kind of see where the axis sort of intersects. Like, okay, people are watching me more, but I actually have a different thing to offer, which is not just, drum videos.
Yes.
Like, here's a band leader offering, here's a record. So, and I was touring the band, trying to do my best to book my own gigs and tour it. So a lot of that stuff, that all was happening sort of concurrently, And so as Instagram, the eyeballs grow, I'm like able to show people more of what I do.
And then you drop your solo album.
Yeah.
You drop Kinfolk.
Yeah.
Which is an incredible album.
Thank you.
As is Kinfolk too, but you drop Kinfolk and you get Grammy nominations on
man.
Your solo album.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Man.
What a blessing, man.
So, I mean, your life changes in 2017.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does.
How old are you at the time?
I had just turned, I guess 42. Wow. I just turned 42.
How old are you now?
I'm 50.
Man.
50, brother.
Looking good, bro.
Thank you, brother.
That's
Thank you,
awesome.
Man. I'm trying to drink my water, man.
Keep trying. You're already halfway through that. We have more too if you need more water.
Never turn down water. Yeah. That's my one. If I have to give advice, someone offers you a glass of water, drink it. Or a bottle of water, drink it. Drink your water. But yeah, no, I'm a late bloomer in terms of my band leading and my presence. You know,
That's inspiring, man.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh yeah, no, my first record came out. I just turned 42 when Kinfolk came out. Wow. Yeah.
And then it's like Kinfolk comes out. Well, Pocket Change.
Yeah.
Of course. And Fearless Flyers.
Yeah.
Brittany Howard.
Yeah. It all happens post 40. Yeah. It all happens. Yeah. And what was really wild was, I think, you know, it's just sort of a testament to this idea of concurrent things happening, you know, and things intersecting. I had been listening to Brittany Howard. I'd been listening to Sound and Color for a whole year before her management. And like every day for a year, I'd been listening, you know, so maybe I kind of willed Brittany to call me because I was just so in love with that record. But, you know, at the end of 2017, right before I start the thing with the Fearless Flyers, I don't realize that when I'm going to play with them in 2018, Blake Mills, who produced the record, is going to be a guest on the thing. It's amazing how things intersect, you know?
I love it, dude.
Yeah. It's amazing how things
divine,
intersect.
Man. It's like, it's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So everything starts going good.
Yeah.
You drop Kinfolk. I'm sure you're like, the reaction's incredible. Rope-a-Dope dropped it? You dropped it with Rope-a-Dope?
Yeah. The first two, so Kinfolk and Pocket Change were both on Rope-a-Dope.
Nice.
And so I put it out, and I noticed that while the Critical, you know, it's a debut album, so there's always a little bit more, you know, excitement around a debut album, even if it's coming from like a late bloomer. It's like still, oh, it's his first thing. But I'm also noticing that while Kinfolk is happening and I'm trying to tour the band, what's really popping off are these people collaborating and playing along with my drum videos.
Wow.
That's what's really popping. And I'm just like, okay, well, what if I did a solo drum album? You know, since that seems to be the thing that people are reacting the most to, maybe I'll just do it. And conceptually, I'm thinking, all right, well, maybe, you know, we'll make it not just me playing the same groove for 4 minutes. What if it's themes and variations inside of a groove? What if it's a thing where I kind of deviate from the groove and then come back? What if it's a thing where there's a little more storytelling built into it?
Yes.
So that was the genesis for the first Pocket Change. But both of those are on Rope-a-Dope, to answer your
That's so
question.
great, man.
Yeah.
And then when does the Brittany Howard opportunity come for you? How do you get the gig with Brittany Howard? Man, again,
I just, you know, it's sorry, man. I get a little emotional when I think about it because I think, you know, this is just so, I don't know. It just feels so fortuitous, you know.
Beautiful.
But I'd been, I think it was summer of 2018. I get an email from her manager and he's like, you know, Brittany's working on a new record. I represent a singer named Brittany Howard who sings with the Alabama Shakes. I'm like, of course I know. Yes, I know. Yes, I've been freebasing this album for the last year. Yes, I know Brittany Howard is. I mean, if I could have smoked it, I would have smoked it. Anyway, so he hits me up and I hit him back and I say, of course, I'd love to. Just tell me when and where. I come out to LA. And summer of 2018 is when we start recording Jamie. August of 2018.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And I get to meet Brittany. I get to meet Sean Everett, who's her co-producer.
So it was just straight up, want to come make this record.
Yeah.
That was the opportunity.
Yeah. And she had been checking me out online. She'd been seeing some videos.
That's where it came from, right? Yeah. She hit up her manager and was like, this guy.
I want this dude. Yeah. There's something about his playing that I
so
dig.
Cool.
Yeah.
So then you go and there's magic there.
Oh,
obviously.
You know, Brittany is magic, man.
Yeah.
She's a true artist. She's a visionary artist. She has such a big imagination, you know? And so she brought in demos of all the tunes and we played them. She played them for me. I would go out and try to replicate the parts. And then Sean Everett would come out and put a megaphone on top of the drum kit, or he would turn the drums upside down, or he would just give me a set of chopsticks instead of drumsticks. Man, try this. Yeah. Literally one of the songs, I think Stay High, one of the songs I'm playing with chopsticks.
That's incredible. You're like, wait, so I'm allowed to play with chopsticks?
Yeah, no, this is it. He said, no, it's going to sound sick. And he was right. He gave me a pair of chopsticks and I played it. It sounded great.
And then did you know that you were going to also then tour with her and be the live drummer?
I didn't know. I wasn't sure what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think she was so happy with the result from the record. Then that's when her management reached out and they offered me the gig.
Yeah.
And to be her drummer and musical director for the first record.
Yes.
So, which I was, you know, very grateful to take.
So then you built the band for it.
No,
or was it most of the record band?
It was most of the pre-existing Alabama Shakes band.
Got it.
Without the core members, sort of keyboardists and vocalists, and I brought in Brad Allen Williams in the band, and then I think they had known Alex Shakur, the other great guitarist who joined the band. So me, Brad, and Alex, we were the new guys. The rest of the band had been her Alabama Shakes touring band.
Man, and you guys get a Grammy nom for that too.
Yeah, she got a Grammy nom and a Grammy win. She won for Stay High. Yeah.
I saw you guys play a bunch on that on that run. It was so great. A few different festival spots.
Yeah.
I also saw Fearless Flyers play at North Sea Jazz Festival.
Oh yes,
which I remember I was like, that bill that year. Yeah. I mean, every year North Sea Jazz is like one of the best, if not the best. Yeah. And but that year I was like, this is really great. I was in Europe, so I went just for fun. Yeah, which is so rare for me to go to a festival like just for fun. Just
for fun, yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I want to see Fearless Flyers. And I look, and you guys are playing the arena stage at night in front of like 10,000 people. I was like, what is this, dude? It's like, they're this big?
Yeah. Imagine how I felt. I was like, because
you guys killed it.
Man, it was a fun night. I'm coming from, I lived in New York for 19 years. And I'm coming from playing at the 55 bar, that was my regular, like, I played the 55, which is gone now, sadly. But, I was playing for 50 people. You know what I mean? We were playing. So to come out here and jump on two trains that are moving that fast, it was crazy. It was crazy. But, just trusting in this sort of convergence of things. Yeah. It just felt like it just always felt right. And the audiences were always really loving the music.
Yeah. I want to say that you guys had the same slot that the next night was Herbie Hancock.
Wow. Yeah.
It's like same time slot, same stage. Just like, what?
Yeah.
And you guys that was like 2 years after you came out.
Yeah.
Or like, right? Was that 2020 or 21 or whatever it was?
Yeah.
Oh, 2020. So it was 21.
21. Yeah. Yeah. Must have been.
Yeah.
Must have been.
So cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, man. Wait, when did we do North Sea? I want to make sure I have mine.
22?
It might have been. I'm trying to think of when we did, because we did. I got to look that up.
I think it was 22 because we did the Jam at Roskilde Festival in Denmark, which is what brought me to Europe. And then I went straight to North Sea because it was from Copenhagen.
Gotcha.
Super close.
Yeah. It honestly, man, a lot of it is a blur for me. It's like because we were jumping off of Brittany's thing to go do the Flyers or go do Kinfolk stuff. Those few years, it just feels like I'm just swimming and, I was just playing so much drums.
Timing was happening. It was just, playing so much drums, like just getting called for everything. Having a schedule workout.
Yes.
You can have overlapping schedules, whatever.
Yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot of this, during that time.
So cool, man.
Yeah, brother.
Can we talk about like the business of Nate Smith?
Yeah.
I would love to I love looking at that and like trying to understand because I mean so much of it is luck, so much of that whether the luck is just like that this opportunity comes at this time and this one comes at this time, so they don't come at the same time,
right?
And you can't do one or whatever. But like, how do you today? How is your business going forward? Of course, you have incoming happening, but how are you balancing it? How are you managing it? What is where do you want it to go? Are you making most of your income from like recorded music, or is it touring, or?
Most of my income still comes from playing drums for people, whether it's recording or on stage, and more than anything else, I really want to write more music and release more original music. I still want to, I still have sort of a dream of like making my own Quincy record. Everybody wants to make their Quincy record. I think Quincy is the guy we all emulate every time we walk into the studio.
Absolutely.
We all want to make a record that sounds like the dude,
Yeah.
So
do you have an I Know Karita in you?
Oh, I hope so. Or I hope, the thing that was so great about Quincy was that he knew the people who had I Know Karita, and he knew how to realize it.
Yes, absolutely.
So if I don't have it in me, then I know somebody who's got it, and I know I can make it. Well,
because I know like you have so many talented people around you besides, of course, like the super known people. But like the Michael Mayos and all these guys who are so incredible.
Incredible people. And like, even, one of the things that I'm, Kinfolk is not touring so much anymore, but one of the things I loved about Kinfolk was how deep the bench was, how deep the field is. Like everyone in that band is an amazing musician. Alma Watt co-wrote all the lyrics. She sang on the records, and Jaleel Shaw, the incredible saxophonist. John Coward, who toured with us most of the time. He was just our incredible pianist and so deep, such a long history.
Yeah.
Brad Allen Williams, who I mentioned, my stick man, my stick man, who also played with Brittany, and then Fema Efron, one of the unsung electric bassists, I think. I don't know. He's such a humble dude. He's such a low profile guy, but he was perfect for that group, and he always played exactly what needed to be played.
Yes.
But to answer your question about business, though, like, these days, I kind of try to look forward as far as I can.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, okay, so what would I like to see for myself 5 years from now? Is it a film score? Is it, a few film scores? Is it, an album of the year Grammy? That would be a blessing. It's all a blessing.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of thinking like, okay, so how do I work backwards from that?
Yeah.
What are the things I need to do now? So I have a really cool team. My management and booking agency are the same.
Yeah.
Big Fish Booking.
Big Fish, yeah.
And they're great. And it's a very small group, so we can move quick. We can make decisions, and I can put stuff out, and we can, do what we need to do to plan ahead. And I'm always kind of thinking like, all right, so if I were to release this record now, what happens 6 months from now, a year from now? Where am I playing it? Where am I touring it? And then how am I following it up? I record all the time. I have a studio. There's a great studio. I live in Richmond, Virginia. There's a great studio there called Space Bomb Studios.
Nice.
And I record there a lot, and I'm always working and recording, and sooner or later a record happens.
Yeah.
You can put them together and make a record, So that's kind of my process, man. Is like, there's music that's in development. There's music that's closer to being done.
Yep.
And I'm always thinking, okay, so where does it go? And at the same time, staying as open as possible to opportunities that are unexpected. I never expected Brittany Howard's people to contact me.
Yeah.
So if I got an email like that from someone else, you stay open to that too, and you say, okay, well, maybe there's a pivot in there. Maybe, it might be worth doing this other collaboration and maybe putting some stuff on the back burner for a minute.
Absolutely.
And coming back to it,
Absolutely.
So that's kind of how I'm navigating it all. Like just trying to stay as open as possible, but always working.
Since you're in Richmond, are you when you're doing these collab sessions with recordings, are you sending out files to people at their studios? Are they coming to Richmond?
Some stuff I'm doing remotely.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that I've been doing, I have really just been traveling to do.
Yeah.
So I'll go to New York. When I did Michael Mayo's record, I went to New York for a few days.
That record, dude.
Yeah. He is so serious.
Yeah. He's
so serious. I've been working on a couple of songs with YEBBA for her new record. I just did a session with the great singer Danielle Ponder. She's got a new record. Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I'm very excited about that record.
Yeah,
so
she's incredible.
I'll travel when need be, or if I'm doing something remote, I'll just go and cut it, send files. It goes both ways.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Pocket. The drummers. We got Nate Smith here. Man, look at the camera. What is Pocket?
Pocket. Okay. Oh, I love this question. All right. Pocket to me is about the space in which all of the musicians on stage agree on time. That's the pocket to me. That's my definition of pocket. When a band plays in the pocket, they're all playing in that same space. They all agree on the distance between notes. They all agree on the length of notes, the emphasis. They all agree on that. To me, that's my definition of the pocket. Pocket always involves other musicians. I think that like feel, pocket, and groove are kind of different things.
Yep.
So a musician can have a great feel on their own, and they can play in a room and get people dancing and grooving. So they supply a groove for an audience. But the pocket, I think, always involves playing with other musicians.
I like that. When did you realize your pocket was Nate Smith deep pocket?
A lot of it came from playing with great musicians.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, one of the beautiful things about living in New York for so long is that the New York scene is so full of great musicians.
Yeah.
It's the same as LA. I mean, there's just so many great cats there that sooner or later you really learn what you're good at. Like you'll get, people will call you, you'll say, okay, well, you might think, man, I'm more of a jazz guy, but then you play a couple of R&B gigs and you realize people are calling you for that because they like the way you play, they like the way you approach the music. And I kind of learned that, while I was in New York, I kind of learned that, there was this jazz rock thing that was happening for me. A lot of guitarists were calling me for gigs because they liked the fact that I could play improvised music, make it feel open, but also lay down a groove behind them, and they liked the fact that we agreed on the time and how I could, to make the time have momentum and feeling, so that, I think that was a really important teaching time for me. I learned a lot about that. And, I think that watching people react to the videos, watching people, react to me playing, that taught me a lot about, what was working, and what was landing for people.
Yeah. Listening to the audience,
considering, and just kind of like observing, how people were responding to stuff.
When you're practicing alone, do you have your drums mic'd? Do you just play acoustic? Like, is there a thing that gets you into it more? Like, how do you stay inspired?
Yeah, I'm usually playing alone, just practicing. I'm really just kind of focusing on sound. That's the thing. Yeah. Sound and touch. Like more and more these days, I'm learning, even in recording settings, softer is better. Really just getting a sound out of the drums, like touching the drums, getting a real kind of the softest possible, but still full sound out of the kit. I'm learning so much just doing that. I'm learning it over and over in recording settings. I'm learning I sound better soft, I feel like I do. And that to me is, that's been very valuable to me. And very inspirational to me because it gets me really back in touch with the drums, really back. And you could think so much about the business and how you're doing whatever it is, but it all starts with your relationship with the instrument. So sitting down and just playing simple time at the kit and getting excited about it, that's what restores the energy after you're out here playing, touring and doing all this stuff. Just sitting down with the drums and playing a simple, whether it's a swing time or whether it's funk or whatever, just playing a simple groove, it kind of offers a reset.
Yeah, because when you hear you playing with Dave Holland versus you with Fearless Flyers, right? It's like two different drummers essentially, right? So, and you're clearly so intentional in your approach and all the different approaches that you have, like as the video you referenced with you with Corey, and you playing like you sound like Steve Jordan when you hit that Steve Jordan, or you hit that, or you hit the Questlove funky drummer, or you hit the whatever it is. Like it's really impressive, man. It's really, really impressive. So it's intentional practice.
It's very intentional, but also intentional listening.
Yeah, listening.
Man, I have gotten so I keep relearning again and again that you are what you eat.
Yeah.
And you listen to the music, you're gonna absorb music.
Yeah.
And you're gonna internalize stuff. So I'm listening to James Brown with new ears now, like listening to it, like understanding what those cats, like as working musicians, like what were they thinking in the studio? Like, how were they tired? Had he paid them? Like what was what was going on? What was kind of going through their minds while they're playing?
Scared?
Were they scared of him?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm thinking like, man, having been out here for a while now, having been maybe a little older than those cats were when they were making those records, like what's going through their minds? What are they thinking about? And not to get too deep into it, but I'm also realizing, man, that I'm just like, listening to music differently now. I'm kind of hearing different things in music.
What do you listen for?
I'm listening more and more for feeling, like for a feeling, I used to listen to try to deconstruct what musicians were doing. And I guess a part of your brain as a musician always deconstructs.
Right.
You're always listening like, okay, well, that's what it's like 11. Okay, he's playing he's playing a polyrhythm here. And some musicians make music for that. They make music that's so layered and it's okay, we have to listen. But to me, the ultimate goal is to create something that creates a feeling for people.
Yes.
Creates a vibe for people. That's kind of what I'm listening for these days.
You've been able to do that with the smallest kick snare hat, like even with pocket change. Like you can listen to it melodically. Like, how do you write a solo drum piece?
I'm improvising most of the time. I might come in with like, okay, I'll sing a groove into my voice memo, and I'll come in and I'll say, okay, I'm gonna start here. But every time I do that, I get a little restless. So I want to see how far I can deviate from it. What are the limits musically? What are my limits technically? Like maybe I'll go for something and not make it. Yeah. I'll go for a fill and it's like, oh, so I got to recover from that. You know, but you hear all of that in the moment. So I might have a little tiny little skeletal idea, but most of the time, man, I'm just going to play, get a little vibe, get a click, set the tempo, tell the engineer what the click track is, and we'll go. Yeah. And I try to do one take. Yeah. I try to do one take, man. Like I really want to discover it at the same time that the listeners discover it. Yeah.
Your piece for Aaron Spears. Aaron is a dear friend of mine, man. Yeah. Think about him constantly still.
Man, I'm sad he's gone. Yeah. I'm really sad he's gone.
Yeah, he was like, one of the best humans on the planet.
Yeah, he was. Absolutely. He was. And you know, when I initially recorded it, he was still with us. Like I recorded it
really?
Yeah. So it wasn't until I listened back to it after hearing the news that he'd passed. Yeah. That it was the first thing I listened to. Wow. Because I was actually that morning, I think I was in Nashville and I was getting ready to upload the record to distribute it or whatever, or getting the artwork, you know, from the artist. And I listened to that record that morning and I was like, this moment feels like I should definitely dedicate this record to him. I didn't know Aaron that well. I met him a few times, but all the times that I met him, I felt like I knew him way longer.
Absolutely.
He was that kind of guy. He was that kind of dude. Like he was so warm and such a kind dude and you know, great dad, great husband. Just a really good dude. So just felt like a befitting tribute to him.
Man, that's crazy to hear that you named it that after you tracked it. Yeah. I was wondering if that was in the inspiration in your approach in playing it or whatever. Because I don't know if it's just because of the title, but that piece felt extra emotional to me.
Yeah, I felt like there was some emotion in that too. And I was, even when I was cutting it, I hadn't even conceived of the fact that you know he might be gone. But I just was thinking there was something somber about the piece anyway, something kind of serious about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Paul Simon.
Man.
Whoa, okay. So you did a couple records on In the Blue Light,
yes, yeah? Yes.
Sick.
Man.
Well, okay, so where did Paul Simon come from and what was that session like?
So that John Patitucci was the plug.
Oh, no
way.
Yeah.
So John Patitucci and Sullivan Fortner had done some recording with Paul. And John recommended me for the session. And Paul said, okay, bring him in. So I came in and he's great. He was very clear about what he liked and didn't like. So we started this piece and I was playing sticks and I was playing super soft and I was, doing the thing and I was playing. And he said, I love what you're doing, but no sticks. Don't play that. Don't play this. I love everything you're doing, but just don't do that. So I switched it up. I picked up the brushes. We did the exact same thing. He was like, and one of the notes he gave me was he didn't want me to play very much cymbals. Okay. He says that as a singer, he felt like he was competing with the cymbals, which I thought was interesting. I'd never thought about that. Yeah. But then now thinking about it, I could kind of see it. Like I can see, like if you're trying to sing over this sheen, this shimmer, for sure. I can see how that could be, distracting. Yeah. Especially
with that soft, pure Paul Simon voice.
Yeah, it was so,
it sounds like a 16-inch thin crash, that Paul Simon voice.
That's right. Wash it right out. You wash it right out. One cymbal crash. Yeah. But no, it was a great learning experience, man, watching him arrange the record, fine tune it. And of course, getting to do it with John and with Sullivan was fantastic.
Was Paul cool?
He was cool. He was cool. He played us some snippets from the record that he was at the time he was working on In the Blue Light. So he played us some other songs, and I remember after he played one of the songs, I thought to myself, man, this guy's got a future as a songwriter. He's going to do okay. If he decides to do this for a living, he's going to be great. he's going to be set.
He can make it.
I think he can make it.
Man, I played one show with him, not drumming with him, but opening for him. We opened for Paul Simon. God, that was like 2012. and at Hard Rock Calling in London in front of 60,000 people.
Wow, man.
And it was the Graceland 20th anniversary.
Wow.
And I met him briefly, and it wasn't enough for me to have a nice feeling.
Oh, oh no.
I was like, give me that nice feeling. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get it from you, but I got it from McCartney.
Okay, there you go.
McCartney gave the nice feeling.
There you go. There you go.
We love a McCartney.
Yeah, I didn't really, I kind of steered clear during the session. I mean, I was trying to keep my, my distance. I didn't want to encroach. He was very cool. He was gracious to me.
Amazing.
I've heard mixed reviews, so I don't know, but
I'm sure someone's always so, you can't judge someone of what they're like in public and they're super famous and whatever and how they treat just a random person versus like in a room with someone that's like, we're making a record. We're in this together. If there's still a dick in that moment, you're a dick.
Yeah. So I didn't see that. I can say that I didn't see. He was kind in the studio. So.
That's awesome.
So that was cool. Yeah.
To bring it back to Brittany.
Yeah.
What's like one of the greatest lessons you've learned from Brittany Howard?
Oh man, that is a great question.
Because I feel like she's just such a powerful force.
She's so special.
Yeah.
She seems to be very, getting back to this idea of intentionality.
Yeah.
She seems to be very intentional and very clear about what she wants. When we would show up to the studio to play, she would have these demos that she'd done in Logic, or wherever she works. And she, these drum parts, and she would like, okay, I want you to play that part. But I want you to do your thing. I want you to do it your way.
Yeah.
And put like that swerve on it that I'm looking for, So the intentionality that she brings to it, but also the openness that she brings to it. That's the biggest lesson, was that she was very clear about what she wanted, but she was also open to other people bringing their personalities to the music.
Yeah.
And that's a great lesson for any, artist. Like, don't be so fixed on what you want that you're missing out on what another musician's going to bring to the table.
Absolutely.
Don't close your ears. Keep those ears open. She has just the biggest imagination. I keep saying that about her, but she does. Like, she just did a show with this metal band. Now a couple weeks ago she did a show in Nashville with a new metal project.
She has a metal project?
She has a metal project. And it's like, and she's doing the, like that kind of
I have to see that.
It sounded great. What? Like there's like a little snippet on her page. It sounded amazing. I'm like,
that's so cool.
Like, Brittany, come on. Like, she's just restlessly creative. Seems to be a restlessly creative person.
Oh man, watch that be the biggest project ever. I feel like metal needs to come back heavy right now. This is a time full of anger and power.
Yes,
it's a great time for metal.
I think it could be very cathartic, man, for people. And if anyone can do it, it's her.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Let's talk personal life.
Sure.
What's the daily routine like for you?
When I'm at home in Richmond, it's very mellow, man. I keep it mellow. I love being at home more and more. Mm-hmm. I don't miss the airport when I'm not there.
Yeah.
I don't miss the the rigmarole of touring.
Yeah.
The volatility of the travel. I don't miss it at all. I love the idea of being able to get into a routine.
Yeah.
So it's usually I have a situation set up where I can go and shed at the studio sometimes when they're not working. I can just kind of go in and shed. So
are you like morning coffee in the morning and then straight to the shed? Like,
no, it's usually nighttime. Okay, yeah. I'll go over in the evening.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever I have to do during the day, whether it's like, I'll have a couple meetings or whatever, if it's like a phone meeting or Zoom or whatever. And then I'm kind of chilling. Like I'll just kind of cool out and try to relax, like try to actually wind down from the anxiety of all the stuff that we do to get to the gig.
How do you wind down?
Oh man, I have so many relaxation methods. A lot of sitcom reruns for me. That's okay. I'm really like I will just put the TV on and just let it wash over me for a few hours, and I'm totally fine with that.
Nice.
I used to be really hard on myself for not doing enough every day.
Yes, I struggle with that.
These days, no, I don't really. I'm like, you know what? maybe I'll do it today. Maybe I'll get to it tomorrow. It's fine. It's fine. The world's not going to stop turning if I don't send that email today or
sure.
You know.
So the sitcom gets you to the relaxing point
where
then your brain's not thinking.
I'm not. Or I'll get into something, or I'll watch really intentional. I'm rewatching The Sopranos right now.
Nice.
So I'll watch that intently, and I'll just admire how great it is.
Yes.
How great the acting is. I'll usually be tweeting about it too. Like,
Yeah.
man, Edie Falco was great in this scene. You know, like I miss James Gandolfini. He was so good. You know, I'll just text that. But that's really my thing. I'll go out and consume some art. I'll go to a museum or I'll go to a bookstore or, you know, I'll try to like consume stuff.
Consume art every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
That's very important to me. Whether it's an episode of The Sopranos that I've seen 4 times, I'll watch it again and see something new, or a new movie I haven't seen.
Right.
It's very important to me to consume art every day.
Amazing.
It's very important.
And then nighttime you play.
Nighttime I play. I'll sit down and just shed a little bit, even if it's for 30 minutes. I'll just sit down and play. I'll usually have my phone with me, do a little voice memo.
Yep.
I'll work on something specific, or I'll just play for a little while, and then that's it.
Do you work out or anything?
No, I need to. I do walk. I will walk. So my neighborhood is very walkable. It's super cold right now, so I don't go out as much as I should.
Yeah.
But I definitely need to do more of that.
Yeah.
Where I know for myself, you know, 50 is a big number. So I'm thinking more and more about how I'm treating my body these days.
Well, you seem fit. When you watch you play drums, you seem very fit.
Hey man, that's kind of when that's the only exercise I can.
Yeah. The arms are strong.
Oh yeah. The upper body's great,
core.
Man, and the core. I'm doing my thing, you know, and I'm trying to, you know, not eat as much bad stuff as I, you know, but still, there's always more to do, more I could be doing.
Any pain?
A little bit of shoulder stuff these days. A little bit right shoulder. I'm starting to change my setup, lower that right
cymbal.
Cats are. You get to a certain point where everything's got to come down. You got to lower it. Can't reach like you used to, man. Can't get up there. And
was it an injury that made the shoulder happen, or is it just one of these
over time?
Dude, and I think that my right shoulder too.
Yeah, I think one of the things was it might have been exacerbated by tour bus sleep. Sometimes I'll sleep like this on the tour bus. Get jerked around. You never know what's happening in there.
Coffin of a bus, of a bunk.
I don't miss that. Do not miss the tour bus.
I talk about the pain because I turned 40 this year.
Oh, wow. Congratulations,
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I was so excited. I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
And then the pain started out of nowhere, man. I tore my calf playing tennis.
Oh, wow.
My shoulder just started hurting a couple months ago. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, what? I didn't even do anything.
Yeah.
It just
started showing up.
And then drumming, I was like, I got to lower the ride.
Yeah. Yeah. There were a couple of things for me that started in my 40s.
Yeah.
Wow, I have to say that now. When I was in my 40s.
The chapter is done.
The chapter is done, man. It's over now, brother. Woo. But yeah, no, I remember, you know, I was carrying a heavy cymbal case on my back, you know, doing a lot of that. Oh, yeah. I don't know where the science is on it or whether that's good or bad for you, but I can't imagine it's good to do it for
the heavy ass cymbal bag.
I don't think it's good to do that.
It's got to hurt the spine.
It's got to hurt a little bit. And I stopped doing that. I'm wheeling everything now. No more cymbals on the back.
Yeah.
Trying to lighten the backpack too. I have a tendency to overstuff in the backpack when I'm traveling. I'm trying to chill on that.
Yeah. Do I really need 2 sets of headphones?
Right. No, bruh. No. You can leave that laptop. The second laptop, you can leave.
The second laptop, yeah.
You don't need that. You're going away for 2 days, bro. You're gonna be fine. You leave for 2 days.
My redundancy rig.
Yeah, no. No, man, I'm right there with you. I've been conscious of it and trying to do things to sort of stave it off, you know, stretching way more.
Yeah.
Stretching has become a part of my life, like my daily routine. Mm-hmm. Because you're seeing so many people just a little bit older than me dealing with shoulder and hip and knee stuff. Yeah. And that gets really, that can put you out of commission.
For sure, dude. Do you invest at all?
No, not yet, man.
Yeah,
not yet. I just now, I had a great conversation with my accountant.
Yeah,
and we're starting that chapter.
Nice.
So I'm gonna, my goal is this, 60 years old. I want to be in a place where I just say yes or no to. Right now, I feel very lucky that I can say yes to things I like and pass on things I don't like. But now it's like, I don't even want to leave the house if I don't have to leave the house. I just want to chill. Like, I think so many of my heroes, they have the option to chill. They don't, because they're restlessly creative.
For sure.
But they have the option.
At any point they
can chill. You know, and so I kind of, you know, you want to give yourself that. I save, but I haven't yet invested.
Yes. Yeah. Have you been to Harvey Mason Sr.'s house?
I have not.
He's got a great crib. He did it right.
That is hashtag goals. Hashtag goals.
He lives right near Ringo and
oh man,
and where Prince was.
Oh wow,
yeah.
Really?
In Beverly Hills. Yeah, he's got a great drummer house.
Hashtag goals.
There we go, man. You can do that. Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
And great guy. Do you know Harvey?
I've never met him.
Oh,
no.
You got to meet Harvey.
I would love to meet him.
I'd be happy to connect you guys.
I would love that.
He is great.
Yes.
He's the best, man.
Yeah.
Such a loving dude. And, still in the game.
Yes.
Still recording, tracking himself.
Yeah. And touring, right?
Making
he's still
albums, touring.
Yeah, he's still doing it. So I man, and seems to be in really good health. And like that's how you do it.
Absolutely.
That's how you do it. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. When I see especially the drummers, you know, I'm like, okay, how are we? Who's doing what?
Exactly.
Who's thinking long term? Because it's one thing to think long term creatively, but then also thinking like, how do I put this money away?
Yeah,
even if it's a little bit of money.
Yeah.
How do I start?
That's important.
Because so many musicians, man, I talk to so many musicians that don't have any sort of investments, even if it's $1,000 in stocks or in crypto or anything.
Yeah.
Don't have health insurance. Right.
Yeah.
Even if they're making decent cash.
Still
because they're independent contractors or, you know, they're W-2 employees when they're on tour for 3 months or whatever it is.
Yeah, like,
man, it's like musicians, like, got to take good care of yourself. It's like, we got to invest any cash you can.
Yeah.
$10 a week, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And get that health insurance.
I had about 10 years ago, I had the, you know, sort of come to Jesus moment, where I was like, you know what? I'm never going to be broke again. I had a couple of tours cancel last minute.
Yeah.
Looking down the barrel of monthly bills that I did not have bread for. And I'm like, if I get out of this position, I'm never going to be in this position again.
Yes.
So I started paying myself every day.
Nice.
So a weekly, whatever transfer, even if it's $20 a day, just put it in the bank.
Yeah.
And put it somewhere where you don't think about it.
Yes.
You know, just bury it somewhere. And so now, you know, I've been doing that for the last 10 years. And it's like, okay, well, now I have this stack of cash. I have a rainy day fund.
Yes.
Thankfully, the sun is out right now.
Yeah.
So I don't need to tap the rainy day.
Yes.
The sun is shining. I'm gonna make hay. But I know in the back of my mind, I've got a little bit of something in case things slow down.
Absolutely.
Which eases the pressure to say yes to everything. Mm-hmm. You know, you can get traumatized by being broke, man. You really can. You can be like, I have to say yes to everything because I'm never going to put myself in that position to, you know, and you can overwork yourself and burn out. So finding that balance is very important.
When you got broke before, like how did it happen? Just like work stopped?
Work stopped and I didn't have savings.
Yeah.
That's the hardest.
You were overspending?
Well, I was not making that much money. And so it was going so much like this. I wasn't overspending necessarily.
Yeah.
I just wasn't earning.
Yeah.
You know, and so you're like, oh man, well, how is it that I got to this, you know, the end of this cycle and I've been working my ass off, but the gigs aren't paying that much. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually investing in myself. I'm booking studio dates for my own stuff. I'm kind of like waiting for money to come in. That takes a long time to come in. And so you're like, oh man, I haven't been paid from that gig I did 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the first of the month is here. I've got to pay these bills. I can't, you know, so you're looking at those are some nail biting moments.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
You don't ever want to be in that. I never want to be in that situation again, you know? And so when you do get out of it, you're like, okay, well, now I've got to figure out how to stay out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the Nate Smith recording fee is more than the union base pay.
Yeah, you know, it's gone up a little bit.
I would hope so. I would assume so.
It's gone up a little bit. I have like I said, man, I have a really cool team and they're looking out for me. And
good.
It also depends too on like the relationships I'm trying to form with the musicians I'm working with. It's like, okay, so I'll work with this person for this fee, but I really believe in this project. Whereas if it's this person over here, one of the things I've learned, man, is that sometimes it's the biggest artists that you work with that haggle the most for money.
Absolutely.
It's
and
like
pay the latest.
And pay the late. They take their time paying. It's the biggest A-list, most famous 30 million albums. And you know what I mean? And then you have to haggle for, you're not going to pay for my Uber? Like, you're not going to pay?
Man, I know. I hear it all the time
It's real.
too from even songwriter friends that have like been on hit records.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're like having to sue the artist to get their money. It's so fucked up, dude.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Meanwhile, I work with independent artists who are kind of on the come up, and they pay like right on time.
Yeah.
Take care of everything, make sure that, it's like, so to me, man, and that's the kind of artist I want to be. I don't ever want people to be out here, Nate didn't pay me, I did a gig.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
We're taking care of it.
Same. We're always paying everyone with Jam Card. We pay everyone immediately, oftentimes, because we do deals all the time where we like work with a brand or whatever and get bread for a musician, but like we'll pay the musician before we even get paid.
Yeah.
That's
to me, that's kind of how you have to do it. I don't want to ever operate in a situation where I did a gig this past, was it November? I have a trio with Tim LaFave on bass, Jason Linder on synths.
Sick.
Great trio.
Sick.
We improvise everything. Oh, it's so much fun. We did a gig at a club, which I won't name, but it took me so long to get paid, and I was paid falsely twice.
Falsely? What does that mean?
I was issued bad, non-negotiable checks that I tried to deposit, and they weren't depositable. Yeah, twice. This cat did it. I won't put him on blast.
Come on, let's blast him.
I won't put him on blast, but you DM me if you want to know who it was. But
wow.
But we had to chase the cat for the money.
That's so fucked up.
It's so fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's like, meanwhile, Jason and Tim are paid. It's not their problem.
Right.
Right. That's kind of on me. So I have to have enough in the coffers to do that.
For sure.
And it's not the first time I've had to deal with it. Probably won't be the last, unfortunately.
Well, hopefully Big Fish just goes and does it and grabs that shit.
There you go. We had to go to work. We had to go to work on them. And shout out to my team. They went to work on them.
Yeah, they're good people. We like your team.
Yeah.
We got to do the Nate Smith Jam one of these days, bro.
Man, come on, man.
We got to do it.
Let's do it.
I'm choose a city.
I'm with it.
That'd be sick. What's the watch? What are you wearing today?
Oh, this is a Citizen Eco Drive. It
looks really pretty.
It looks way fancier than it is.
It looks nice.
I wanted something that looked like I was balling, but I'm balling on a budget.
Let's go.
I'm balling on a budget, brother. So yeah, but this is I can't play in it. It's a little too heavy to play in. So when I'm playing, I usually wear something super light, like a cheap Swatch or something.
Yeah.
But one of my hopefully we'll see how the year goes, man. Maybe I'll treat myself to something super, super nice that I can start like an official watch collection.
Nice, dude. Good watches for drummers are Omegas. Omegas, their watches are made they're made so well in the way they don't have magnets. I'm going to screw this up. But so because like a lot of other watches that are made with certain kinds of magnets like Rolexes or whatever, your drumming will eventually slow down the time in the watch. And you're going to ruin the watch from drumming because of all the fast twitch movement, right? Which isn't a normal.
Yeah.
If you're not a drummer, what else is doing this?
Yeah. Right.
Right. But Omega watches. I wish this was sponsored by Omega, but Omega watches are great for drummers. Look into it.
You know what?
Yeah.
This explains some things. This explains why when I have worn this watch and played in it, whether it's a session or whatever, I do notice it's like, why is it slowing down?
All the gears and the magnets.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Never would have thought of that.
Yeah. The magnets also in certain watches that have magnets will get fucked up from if you're just laptoping a lot with it on.
Interesting.
It'll pull on it.
Interesting.
I love watches.
Man, I am hopeful that, the year will allow me to splurge on
that time is going to come. And if you want to romanticize it,
yes,
call your boy.
Okay.
We'll choose the perfect watch for you.
I love it, man. I love it.
It's so great. I John Mayer is a huge watch guy, right? Huge watch guy, yeah. Something he said in a video that I was watching that was super romantic about watches that really got me to lean into it was he was saying how their timepieces, but not because they tell you the time, but because they remind you of the time and your accomplishment that that allowed you to buy it. So every time you look at it, you're like, oh, that was because I did this tour.
Yep.
That was this moment that was like, wow.
I love that.
And that to me is like the romantic, like for your own pat on the back, feel good.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I earned this from this thing. So
what's a part of the reason why we work, man? We want to do it so that we, it's a cool thing. We work hard so we can play a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend less money on food this year.
Brother, listen, let me tell you something. I am trying. So one of the disadvantages of touring all the time is you go to the grocery store, you buy a fridge full of food, and then you eat like half of it.
Yep.
And then you're gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh man, that cheese I bought. Well, okay, there's so much for that. You know what I mean? Like so much. So I'm really these days I'm trying to be more intentional about buying food, cooking it at home.
Yes.
And not wasting so much. You know? And not depending so much on Uber Eats.
Yeah, I know. It's too easy. Are you a foodie? Would you consider yourself a foodie?
I would, yeah, I would. Although I'm never one of those people who, I don't have like a seething contempt for like fast food or like cheap food, you know?
Yeah.
But I definitely, my tastes have gotten more my palate has gotten more sophisticated over time.
Well, I know you're about to hop out of LA, but when you come back, let's go to an awesome dinner.
I would love that.
I got a whole list.
I love it. You can still send me the list.
I'm going to send you the list, and I'm going to spend even more money on food this year. Ladies and gentlemen, make a ton of noise for the great Nate Smith. Let's go!
Thank you, Elmo. Thank you, brother.
Go with Elmo. 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 This is the stuff, man.